Today, you guys, I wanted to bring my dear friend Nia. She's been rocking with me since what, 2, 3 years? I feel
3 years, going on 3 years.
yeah, it's only 3 years. And I thought I'd bring her on because she is a single mom who's going after her goals. And obviously, I'm not a single mom, but I do see a lot of single moms in business and motherhood. And one thing that is big about my business is that I always want to bring other people in to share to the different aspects that you might be going through because I can't be all of it. And so I love to bring others, especially who are close to me, or even if I don't know you, to come on and talk and share your expertise or your experience. So I love them having Nia. And so if you want to reach out to her and learn more about her, her links will be in the description below. But Nia, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, y'all. Hey. I'm Nia, 29 years old. I'm a single mom of 2 babies. I have a boy and a girl. And I mean, I love them with all my heart. It has been a journey, to say the least, but it's been super exciting. And I feel like I'm one of those first generations that are trying to do things differently. So it's been hard. It's been a challenge. But I will say that my children give me a different kind of motivation. And yeah, so first to do a lot of things in my family, but shoot, we here. We making it. We're alive. We're alive. And not just surviving, but learning how to thrive. Not just survive, but learn how to thrive. And I think that's kind of just where I am. And serving the Lord too. That's been a first generation thing for me. So gave my life to Jesus. I think when my son was like about a year and a half, because I realized that I'm done surviving. I can't keep surviving. And I can't do it by myself. I need somebody to save me, because if I keep trying to save myself, we all gonna be toe up. So yeah, it's just, that's where I am. And it's been a rewarding journey so far. And I think often it's this misconception that we kind of understand what we're getting ourselves into, but we really don't. And I don't think that it has ever been God's will for any of us to be single parents. Like, and so to have to carry the weight of the majority of everything, like, it's tough. It's tough. But I think it's an advantage to be able to have something that's always going to keep us at the feet of our Lord and asking him, like, every step of the way, hey, is this where I'm supposed to be? I don't know what I'm doing with my babies, because I'm gonna tell you the truth, like, half of the time, majority of the time, I don't even know what I'm doing. And it's trial and error.
I think a lot of us in motherhood is definitely in that survival mode. And so you speaking about it, even as a single mom, and then even moms who are married, and sometimes moms feel like they are a single parent, even though they are married, because a lot of the weight does fall on us, like kind of the default parent role. Yeah. And so I'm glad that you said we're not trying to survive no more. We want to thrive, because it's exhausting. Anything that I do, even when it comes to me helping moms in business, I'm always like, bro, if you don't use something to help you, why are we burning ourselves out anymore? My mom was a single mom, and I just didn't like how she was so burnt out all the time. And so it was like, it just opens my eyes to even how I want to parent. And as like motherhood for me, and even in my marriage, like it can be a lot, but it's like we cannot burn ourselves to the ground. We can't, especially if everybody relies on us, and we have to learn how to give the weight to other people too. And so that can be hard when you're like, oh, I need somebody else to help me. And it's like sometimes you might have to build your village in a way. And that sounds weird, because you're like, why the village ain't villaging? Well, nobody's villaging no more. Our grandparents are not necessarily there like that. We might live far away from family. I know both of us are military, so like we're not with family. And even if we are, like, families still have their own life. So it's kind of hard to be like, man, I have this huge support system. Like, the support system be like the phone, FaceTiming somebody, but it's not the same as actually having somebody in there with you. And your kids are playing, and you guys are cooking dinner together, which I did wish we lived closer to each other.
Yes, baby, we
would have
okay.
Exactly, we would have did it. And even when we did live close to each other, we did do that. It makes my heart, as like a married mom, it makes my heart sad for a single mom, only because I know how hard it is for me, so I can't imagine how hard it is for y'all. And so it just, sometimes it's just like, I don't know, I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry right now. Maybe because it's you. Maybe it's because you. But I don't like seeing it, but also because my mom was a single mom, so it just grieves me to a different point, because there's so much that we lose ourselves to in motherhood, and I know that maybe as a single mom, maybe there's more parts that you even lose because of that, because you're trying to play two roles.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I guess my question is, since I keep talking about it, do you like having married mom friends, or do you prefer single mom friends? Does it like make you wish, like, hey, I wish I was married? Do you feel like left out? Do people treat you differently because you're a single mom? How does that look?
I actually enjoy like my married friends simply because it like looking at my married friends and their marriages thriving with their kids and everything, it gives me something to look forward to because I'll be honest. Sometimes I'll be like, I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it. And I think that God's favorite thing to do or remind us is to always stay encouraged, you know? Because I think that discouragement as a single parent is easy, so easy to fall into. To get an opportunity to see that it is possible is kind of like God's promises to us. Like, okay, you might not be experiencing the promise right now, but I'm telling you so you have something to hold on to. And I think that my married mom friends kind of give me that promise to just hold on to. Like, this is what you have to look forward to. It's not going to be easy, even on this side, just because there's another partner, but it's something to look forward to. And let me just say, Sabree do a real good job. You do a really good job of letting me know, like, girl, please, it's coming. So I just that's true. And I mean, like, I do like as a single parent, I appreciate now the compassion that people have towards me in my situation. Because at first I was just like, don't feel sorry for me, but that was pride. And and the pride came from like, I don't want sympathy because I'm not like a sad story or anything like that. But there is like a part of my story that is pretty sad, honestly. And to see that people are able to have compassion towards me, it just reminds me of how the Lord looks at us. He looks at us with compassion and he's like, I feel for you because I am with you in it, you know? And maybe that wasn't ever your struggle, but you saw what your mom went through. From a child's perspective, to be looking at their parents like, dang, like this is the one thing I noticed about my mom. I just wish she wasn't so tired all the time, because you as her daughter, I know you feel like I would have got a different version of my mom. And me as a single parent, I think about that a lot, a lot. Like each one of your kids are going to get a different version of you, unfortunately. Um, but I think that the version of you, when you have all of your kids together and y'all are kind of like out of the survival trenches, is a mom that they can look forward to.
Yeah, no, that's good. Cause I definitely be. I just said this to like DeAndre the other day. I was like, man, I wish I can go back and be a different mom for my first baby. Cause I don't like how it was a struggle bus. Like I'm like, why was I so sad and angry? And I think no one talks about the transition of being a mom for the first time. Like I know we talk about it, but no one really wants to talk about like you're losing yourself a little bit. And it's not even like a little bit. It's like your whole world just got flipped upside down. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're okay," and that's what all the advice be like. Don't have your whole life at motherhood. Don't do this. Don't do that. I was like, girl, I just had a whole baby come out of me. That's for a first.
Yeah.
That's the first time. You act like I was doing this my whole life. Like, are you
Yeah.
it out my body? Like, I don't know why we treat that so like small. That's life changing for a person, especially
Yeah.
depending on how you got there. I know everybody's birth story is rough, and we've had friends that have gone through some crazy stuff. So it's not easy bringing a baby into this world. Sally and I were talking about how like she used to want to be pregnant because it looked cute. And when I think about looking at pregnant women, it did look cute, like the bump and everybody's like the baby shower, but it's far from cute. It's really far from cute.
You gotta tell them because ain't nothing cute about that pregnant part. It's cute on the outside, but on the inside, you be like
No,
that meme that's like, real. That's how you feel.
no. Yeah, I just don't like the aversion. I don't know why food don't taste the same when you're pregnant, and so you only got like two options. So you struggling, you eating the same thing for 9 months.
And then
What?
it depends on I don't know why, but it depends on the gender of the child.
Right.
What you crave and what you don't crave. And it's kind of like, damn, I kind of miss eating that, but it's not my season.
Right.
Not my season. I can't understand like and I think that we don't, as moms, I don't think we don't give our birth experience credit for literally how our, like, I guess when the baby is little, how that kind of shapes part of our motherhood. Like
Yeah.
for me, mine was rather traumatic because I had to have a C-section as my first birth experience ever.
Yeah.
And that really, I can tell, like looking back on it, because I had a completely different experience with my daughter. How looking back on that, how it really shaped like my motherhood experience. It really did, because it started off with trauma, kind of like, I guess, trying to heal through that and figure out all the pieces and parts that went to that. It enhanced the experience, I guess you can
Yeah.
say. And it
Yeah.
showed. It definitely shows, especially when you have another baby and it's completely different, like literally polar opposites. But I can
Literally.
say that experience shaped me as a mom for my son, as a mom for my daughter. But yeah, definitely that has a lot to do with it. And then the realization, you get home and it's finally you and that baby, and you looking at that baby looking at you, and you're like, what are we doing right now?
Because what am I supposed to do too?
Are we gonna be okay right
I'm surprised they let me walk out the hospital with him.
now? Okay.
Like,
My
you know, I
gosh.
don't know how to do this, right? Like, you know that. You
It's
signed the
like
papers willingly.
you realize this is my first time.
Right.
So that was definitely an experience.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, the birth does basically paint your picture. Because obviously my second one was a lot better. I prefer that one.
Yeah.
I really do prefer the second one. Because I feel like I was relaxed more. But the first one, I feel like it was a war zone. I don't know what was going on in that labor delivery room. I don't know what was happening, but it was a whole war zone. But I wonder if that shapes us thinking about it, because I know a lot of moms are coming into my mind as like them having a rough like first birth. But I wonder if that shapes us into the women to be able to protect our children in a way. Like if we kind of like flip like a different perspective, if it's like, I did have a crazy first experience, but what if that built like a backbone to
Yeah.
you to know what you won't take anymore?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you don't know what you won't take until you go through something that you don't want to take it.
Mhm. And it's like, this time, oh, you're not gonna do me like that this time. It's given, it kind of sets the stage for boundaries, right? Like
Yeah,
that's why we put them in place, especially when it's unfamiliar territory. Because at first you're so excited, like, oh yeah, I'm pregnant with my first baby, or experiencing everything for the first time. And then boom, you get bust upside the head with the frying pan. That's what it feel like. And then it's
I
the
think
second time around, and you kind of just like, oh yeah, okay, I remember this part. Oh yeah, okay, I remember like how to do this and how to deal with this now. And okay, I think I can be a little better prepared for this situation. And then, like, as a first time mom, you paranoid about everything. And then that second
everything.
one come around, you be like, oh girl, we all right.
Right.
We gonna be okay. Yeah.
Man, when I had the third baby in the hospital, I said, "Oh, she wasn't crying loud enough for me because I had toddlers. So she was crying, but my brain wasn't registering that she needed me
Yeah.
or needed her diaper change. It's because the toddler's cry is louder. I used to think a
Yeah.
newborn cry was like unnerving, but it's not.
It's not. It's super
It's not.
chilly.
What else would I say? Boundaries. That's a good one. But I know we talked about boundaries before. And this makes me think of another conversation I had, but you can't have boundaries until you know what you want.
Mhm.
And so I think in motherhood, when we're first starting, we don't know what we want yet. We might see what social media says that you want, or maybe your mom or your aunties or your grandma, they say what you want, and you're trying, especially if you're like the first generation doing things different. You think you know what you want until you actually go through it. And then you're like, no, that's not what I want.
Yeah. Cause shoot, I talked to my mom. That was the first thing I did. I talked to my mom about her birth experience. She was like, "Oh, okay, everything was like, it was really cool. It was really chill. You had a hard time coming out, but you eventually did on your own." So I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna be all right."
Easy.
I was like, "Well, how was the pain?" She was like, "It hurt, but I was all right." Girl, I
And
started feeling that pain. Immediately, I was thinking in my head, like, she said it was gonna be all right. I'm not all
it's
right.
not all
I'm
right.
not okay. Please, the drugs, I need them right now. I'm not fooling around. Shoot, I was
No.
hanging out with my family not too long ago, and a cousin of mine, they were like talking about the pain and everything. And she was like, she's first time mom. So she's like, well, I want to try to do it with no epidural and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And everybody is like, oh yeah, you could do it without any pain medicine. And I did it. My aunt was sharing her. She did it. They turned around and looked at me. I said, oh, don't look at me, baby. I'm going to get that epidural every time. I'm not fooling around with that junk. It hurt. Okay. Y'all can take the strong soldier package, but me, it's gonna have to be one of those moments where it's like, no, you don't even have no option, baby. The baby is coming right now. We can't do no medicine. It would have to be like that. But if not, I would prefer to take medicine because that junk hurts.
Bro, the way my mom explained it seemed like a walk in the park. My mom did hers for unmedicated, and I said, so I was like, bet I'm gonna do exactly what my mom did. I did not for that first one. I did not. That just hurt. I was in that hospital for a day.
It's giving pain on top of pain. But you did do that with your second one. You did that.
Yeah, I had no choice. I got there too late.
Yeah.
No, but I like the epidural. My mom said, maybe I should have got the epidural. So she saw how it relaxed me and stuff. I said, yeah, that don't work great.
Because I think the more relaxed you are, the easier it is for even the baby to come out. Because I literally remember falling asleep with her. And when I woke up, it was time to push. I was like, oh, dang. So a nap sometimes is really all you need. That when you in all that pain. With my son, that was the last thing I was thinking about. I was like,
you can't take an hour, everybody prodding you every moment. I remember when they gave me the epidural, I said, I went to sleep and then I woke up and it was like, this is beautiful. No, this is the experience I want. Like, what you mean? Especially if they got to stitch you up at the end. Nobody want to feel that because they try to get me that second time. Talking about, we're going to stitch you up. If you don't give me something to stitch me up, I don't care that he just came out unmedicated. Do what you need to do.
Boundaries, okay? Boundaries.
I just don't like.
And just girl, and being able to advocate for yourself in situations like that too is a lot. Because I mean, with both of my kids, it was nobody there when I was pushing out my babies, like support wise. When my daughter, my uncle was here, but because it was like literally in the middle of the night, like my induction date was the time was like 1 a.m. We had to take my son to school, and by the time he got there, she was already out. So I kind of endured that. And even with my son, I had, by the grace of God, met a doula at the last minute who offered to do it for like a really for free. And she was like, if you want to, sew, you can give me some money. And I still did, because I appreciated her being there for me. And even at the time, it was her first experience with the C-section. So we was all kind of just in there like, God help us, And even then, it was so many things that was happening to me that was out of my control. Like, nobody was telling me when they were giving me medicine. Nobody was telling me what was being given to me. It was given. My life was literally hanging by a thread in there. And in my mind, I couldn't register like that I was about to have a major surgery. It was just happening. And when it was over, I was just like, wait, okay, I see my baby is here, but there's literally like a huge scar, like, down here. My body is hurting. My baby is no longer there, but I just had surgery.
Right.
A major surgery that I was awake for.
And they cut, 7 layers?
Just having to process that, like, little by little. Literally, people telling me, like, you can't do that. You just had surgery. I was like, oh, yeah, huh? That was an experience, to say the least.
I couldn't do that. Hats off for you for the C-section, because that was one thing I was like, I don't know if I could like lay there on the table like that. I think I would have freaked myself out. I'm like, bro, y'all gonna have to find another way.
Yeah, and like it wasn't something that I wanted either, but before it became an emergency, and I always tell people, like, this is really the moment I feel like where God was really pricking at my heart, like, hey, do you trust me? Hey, I'm calling you, And in that moment, it was like everybody came into the room letting me know, like, hey, your son's heart rate has dropped this low. And if it does again, like, it might become an emergency situation because his amniotic fluid was like a different color because he pooped inside his sack. So I was like, baby, I ain't never seen this before. I don't know what's happening. Y'all need to explain something to me. But nobody really told me the severity of the situation. So I'm thinking everything is good. I'm still laboring and going through all the things. I think I got to 4 centimeters and they're like, oh, you're not dilated fast enough. So we need to stop your labor. And, they give you all the worst case, absolutely worst case scenarios. And you as a first time mom, you thinking like, oh my God, like, bro, am I finna die? Is my baby finna die? Like, what are we talking about right now? So, the whole dramatic movie scene, they come in around your bed and they're like, and mind you, picture this. I'm on hands and knees on top of the bed, listening to these people talk to me. And literally the tears just start flowing because I'm feeling like in that moment, do I want to allow my pride of like wanting to have the birth experience I want, or do I want us to both be alive? And the only person that can make that decision is God. So in that moment, I felt like he was just calling me, like, it's as if Jesus just walked in the room like, you trust me? Because if you trust me, do what's best for y'all. And it was like, I could barely even hear what the doctors were saying. And when I sat up, I just knew. I looked over at my doula, and she was like, well, I just talked to my midwife, and she said, like, it's probably the best for you to just go ahead and do the C-section. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to fight it. So they got us ready. They rolled us out. And before you know it, me and Mr. Ray, we was looking at each other eye to eye. Thank God. So, but just that experience, like, it let me know, like, in motherhood, like, it's not about you. It's no longer about you. You can't make decisions about yourself anymore. Like, and I think that's more of like the grieving process that I was really going through was I felt like I was losing my independence. I felt like who I thought I was at that time, I was like losing. And that was hard. I went into a serious deep depression, like just thinking to myself, I can't do the things I used to do anymore. I can't say the things I used to say anymore. I can't be the way that I used to be anymore because now I have somebody else I have to take care of and worry about, and their needs are more important than mine right now. And I think that's more or less the struggle of being a single parent, because it's like you're grieving who you were, but also trying to figure out who you're supposed to be, because you become a new person with every child, because again, it's based off of the birth experience. It's based off of what's happening to you in your life. Like how we interpret the Bible. It's about context, right? Like we can read something in the Bible, but we have to consider what was happening at that exact time to understand the full picture, And it's like a journey. You have to go through the journey and you never arrive. So don't ever think that you have arrived at motherhood, because baby, the moment you feel like you got it figured out,
it's changing immediately.
It's given up. You ain't touched it yet. But I think that's the beautiful thing of it. You're always learning something new. There's always something to learn. And one thing I will always carry with me that I learned from my dad was, he said, when you stop learning, that means it's time to pass away. It's time to die. Once you stop learning, it's time to die. And I think about that all the time. So that is, I guess, my first, introduction to be a single parent, because I knew going into it, I was going to be a single parent. Like the circumstances in which my son was conceived, the other person involved, he let me know from the very beginning, I'm not interested. I'm not trying to do this. I don't want to do it. And I had to make a hard decision to say, okay, because before I was even saved, I had made a promise to God, because I had an abortion prior to this. Like when I was 18, I had just lost my dad to cancer, and I didn't know what I was going to do with a baby. I didn't know nothing about being nobody's mama. I was in the middle of grievance, trying to figure out my life. I had just graduated high school and was trying to figure out what next steps were. And then boom, I'm hit with this decision to, and I made a conscious decision, even though I knew it wasn't the right thing to do. It was the best with what I had at the time. And after that experience, I made a promise. Like after the appointment, I'm sitting in a car silently. I made an inner vow, like, God, I don't care what situation I'm in the next time. I can't, I will not even I can't do this anymore. I will not. I will not do this again, God, because it's too much. It was too much, it was too much. So to be put in that situation, I already knew without a shadow of a doubt, like, I'm going to do this by myself. I knew, so to mentally prepare myself for that journey, it was a lot leading up to it. It was a lot going through giving birth. And then our next feat is raising the child alone. And because I know that was a vow that I made to God, that kind of just kickstarted me wanting to know who God was. Like, who are you? Because I ain't got no other choice. I need you for this one. I was still in the military. I was in Colorado Springs at that time. So leaps and bounds, your girl, El Paso, Texas. That was my next destination. But while I was there, that is what life was looking like. I was like, okay, what is life going to look like now that I'm in the military? Am I ready for my kid to like go back to daycare and me go back to work? Like, do I need to go home? Like, is somebody going to come here and help me? Like, these are all the questions I was thinking about because my mom was married. She was married to my dad 25 years before he passed away. So that wasn't even a thought in my mind. It was not even a thought in my mind. I didn't understand the struggle. I didn't even know that it was a reality for me because I had figured to myself, like, no, this is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it how my parents did it. Like, I'm gonna be married when I have kids. And that just wasn't the case for me. And it wasn't a whole lot of single parents in my life that I knew who could be like, okay, this is what you have to look forward to. Yeah, everybody married with kids, So, and the ones I did know who were single parents, like, I didn't exactly have a good relationship with them to be able to even have that conversation. So your girl was winging it, okay?
I believe it though. Because I know for some single moms, like the situation that you find yourself in, it's different. Some people are upfront and saying, hey, I'm not going to be there for this. Like, I'm not even trying to be here for that. Then you have some who are like, they go through the journey with you and then they just disappear. Like, I'm sure there's so many different crazy scenarios that happen. A pregnant woman and that happened, your hormones are not there. You have new hormones. Like,
Yeah.
so I know that was stressful to do. Like,
They're trying to just figure out all the changes that are happening and acknowledging that, okay, I don't think that I'm okay, but also the realistic thought, like, I don't have time to not be okay right now, So that's where that whole survival mode comes in because it really is life or death. Like, if I feel the full extent of everything right now, like, what if I fall apart? Yeah. And what if baby does it? Like, is my baby just gonna go by the wayside? I can't do it. It wasn't an option.
Yeah.
It was not an option for me. I had to pick up and keep going.
I was gonna say for me, I think I went deeper into God because I had a child. But I actually could have died after having my first because I had postpartum preeclampsia. And they had told me like we want to keep you overnight, but I told them no because my mom is leaving the next day. I said I need to see my mom before she leaves, and I had to sign a paper saying that I understood the gravity of the situation and I could possibly die. And then they sent me medicine. Obviously, I'm fine because I have 3 kids.
That's crazy, Sabria. I didn't even know. Wow.
I literally could have died having my first child. Like that's how extreme it was. And I don't think I'd be thinking that that's traumatic because I'm like, I'm still here. We don't be thinking like stuff that happens to us is traumatic until you sit back and you're like, tell me that I could have died. I don't know if it was me being like, God got me, whatever. Like, I'm going to be all right. It's just like, I think after that, I was like, this junk is crazy. And then DeAndre got deployed after that, 2 months after that. So it's just like, so in a way, it was like I was a single parent. Obviously, I'm not a single parent. But when he was deployed and trying to be a parent for the first time, that junk sucked.
Yeah.
I said, y'all ain't gonna get another kid for me. I'm sorry. If I'm gonna have to do it like this, I said, this joint sucks. And then obviously the experience of it and just looking at it like, this is not what I thought after you have like a kid. You're supposed to be a happy, bubbly family. Like everything is great. Like that's how it looks on the outside. But in reality, the DNA of your whole family changes because you added a new person. And that means everybody kind of has to adapt to it. But I'm like, but throw in job situations, deployments, military junk, and then you got to move from where you were at to somebody else's state. It was like, bro, I was like, I don't think this motherhood thing is for me. I'm too late now though.
Yeah.
I
I think the reality sets in like so hard. You feel it during the aftershock. You kind of just like, so the ideologies that I had in my mind about what it was supposed to be, so it's not real. Stop playing with me. And first of all, let's go talk to these adults because y'all should have told us the real. But they just weren't paying attention when they kept on telling us like, you'll find out when you have your kids for yourself. And I'm telling you, still today, I'll be calling my mom like, I'm so sorry. Let me just, Mom, I had to repent today, Mom, because I thought about the stuff you was talking about. It didn't really register. And now I'm living that reality of when you say you're gonna find out when you have your own kids. Woo, baby.
I don't like finding out.
They
really was. I think it's because we're like, it's gonna be a different experience, so I'm gonna go find out for myself. You know, because I did tell my in-law family that we were gonna have 5 kids. I have 3 right now. Do I think I'm gonna make it? I'm sorry, like I didn't know. I thought having kids were cute. If you think about it, having a kid, you play with the kid all day, but nobody tells you. Well, they're trying to tell you, but you're not listening because you're in your happy little bubble, as you should be.
Yeah.
But like, because your experience is definitely different from everybody. Like I said, my mom had 4 unmedicated births and she did that like a champ. I said my brother tried to take her out, but that was like a whole spiritual thing right there where you warring in the labor and delivery room. But what was the thing? It's just not the same. Like we just did potty training and I was like, I gotta do this how many more times? Wait, I have to do hair? Like, y'all don't know me for real, but like I was never the girl that was like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna do my hair. Like my mom did my hair for the whole entire time growing up. Then I went to the military, I had to figure out. Then I ended up paying somebody else to do it because I had money. And so I still have somebody else to do it because I just didn't want to do it. Hence the reason I got locked. But there's just a lot of maintenance that you have to do with kids. And kids are great. I love my kids. Wouldn't change them for the world. It's the daily maintenance. And I'm just like, so how was I supposed to have a life outside of daily maintenance? Like you telling me to still have a career, still do this, clean the house, but my kids require daily maintenance. Who helping me?
And when you think about it, it's like, bro, where's the balance in my life? Because you mean to tell me I gotta make sure I eat, I gotta make sure I drink water, I gotta make sure I stay healthy, and then I gotta make sure another human is doing the same thing, and I gotta keep them alive. On top of that, whew, it's a lot. It's a lot.
The balance don't exist. It's juggling. I learned that. I know we use the word balance, but it's really juggling. I like to try to get as much of things off my plate as possible. I think I will be the mom in the future that has like, yeah, somebody grabs that for me. I don't do that. I'm sorry.
Or we sending up a prayer right now. Here are
right. Because I'm like, I just don't want to do it. I need to put in some kind of thing like on every Friday I'm not cooking or something. Like I need to have like I gotta have more boundaries in a way. Like I'm not doing it. I will make a crock pot meal for you, hands down. But I just don't choose elaborate meals no more.
Yeah.
Who do I have to impress? The job is to feed, not to impress.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying
I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that. It's not to impress nobody. It's gonna be good because it's in your stomach.
Obviously, I do care about what people want to eat and what they like, and I'll try to tend to that. But if I try to do that all the time, we're not gonna have nothing.
Yeah.
Because the kids being picky and everything like that, so you just have to try it. Now, obviously, I know their favorites to eat, so I try to make that as often as possible. But I can't eat tacos every day. After everything that you said, and that makes me think of it almost came to the point I said, well, how are we going to talk about you got goals as a mom when you feel like your whole life is wrapped around the kid? I know I
Yeah.
had a conversation with another mom, which I'll link that in the description below, and she was talking about how we have to, like, the kids don't know nothing. They're fine with whatever you give them. But
Mhm.
we want to do the most because of how we grew up and stuff like that. So the kids are like, bro, I just asked for a box. Like, I didn't want the TV, I want a box.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Do you feel like it's hard to go after your goals, or your goals have changed? Or you're always trying to fit your goals into your life that you have now? Do you ever feel sad, disappointed? Like, bro, why can't I do that? Like, it's like I can
Mhm.
see it, but I can't grab it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that not even I think I know you get lost in motherhood. I don't think that is ever any mom's intention to get lost in motherhood. Like that's never our intention, but somewhere in between, like trying to get enough sleep and making sure your child is healthy and happy and the doctor's appointments and the daily life things, like you get wrapped up into it. And when you finally come to and you like take a breath, you're like, oh my gosh, I just lost myself in that. Like, who am I? And then that's the next journey. Like, okay, who am I now? Like, what are my goals? Like, can I reach those goals? Because I think somewhere in between me getting out of the military and being basically at home majority of the time, I kind of gave up on my goals because in my mind, the military was my goal. Like that was the goal for me. I wanted to, if not retire from the military, or at least be close. I don't remember where I started to like really try to have goals because I had given up. I was just like, well,
Mhm.
mm, being somebody's mama is just that's just the season I'm in. And then once I gave my life to God, he was like, actually, no, this is only one part of it. You have another part and another part. And you have goals and you have uh achievements that you can get, but you just can't do it alone. Like I know what purpose and plan that I have for you, but I don't want you to do it alone. And that's when I started to understand what interdependence was. Because at that time I was still hyper independent. I don't need your help. I can do it myself. Operating from rejection, operating out of fear of failure, and all these things I was operating out of just in the beginning. So um giving my life to God really helped me just understand interdependence. And interdependence, for anybody that doesn't know, is the ability to rely on other people to help you achieve your goal. So that was the most paramount part of my journey, I think, learning interdependence, because now I can ask God, like, okay, this is something that I had as a goal, and I've let it go because this is where I am. But what do you say about it? And just journeying with God, like praying, fasting, trying things out, doing a little bit of this, doing a little bit of that, and seeing that I can do it. Like at least just trying, because I had this terrible habit, and I'm still working on it today, of talking myself out of it because of the fear of failure. I don't want to try it and I fail at it. But that is also perfectionism, which started, of course, from my childhood. And this inability to just not be good at something. I don't understand. I couldn't understand how I allowed it to shape my identity. And that part of my identity was, if I'm not good at it, then I'm just not good at anything. And that's not the truth. That's just something that kind of hooked me when I was a kid and was just journeying with me while I was trying to survive. But the truth is, as moms, we do have goals. We do have aspirations, dreams that we hope to accomplish. And we can do it as moms, because my thing was like, I felt like my kids were in the way. They were getting in the way of those things. And if I had my kids, then I couldn't do it. And that's not the truth. God was like, no, actually, you can do it. And you can do it with your kids, and you will do it with your kids. And it's not to prove to yourself that you can do it. It's for God to show you that it can be done as long as we do it together, you know? So you're not always relying on your own strength, because that's what brought me to the point of giving my life to God, because I had done life in my own strength for that long and I was tired. And God just waited for me. He was like, I know what I got to do with her. I just got to wait until she's tired. It wasn't no snatching me out of darkness. It wasn't no radically getting delivered for me. It was like, no, with Nia, I just got to wait until she gets tired, because she is. And when I came to the revelation of who Jesus was, I was just so like captured by his love. Like I was like addicted. I was like, wow, this is a love I never got growing up. And if this is who you are, then I want to know more. Like, okay, if you say I can do it, if you can give me something that I've been asking for my whole life, I can only imagine what you could do for me through this. So you can achieve things, but you can't do it on your own. Until all the mamas out there that are trying to do it out of their own strength and y'all are tired, I'm telling you right now, like, God is waiting on you, baby. He waiting on you. You running through the park. He's sitting on that bench where he know you take a break at, and he's just like, come sit down with me. I know you're tired. I know you need some water. I got a different kind of water for you, though. It ain't got nothing to do with your thirst. Just like the woman at the well. I'm telling you, I was the woman at the well. I come in and he asking you for water, and you thinking he's talking about physical water. The whole time he like, oh no, baby, I'm talking about something that's going, it's about to bizzle you up today. That's what you don't know. You talking to me about this man that's done left you with this baby who ain't your husband? And I'm telling you about me. I'm telling you about something that's standing right in front of you. Come on, open up your eyes, baby. Your answers is right here. So it's important for us to understand, like, maybe God has a different plan. And I had this black and white way of thinking, like it had to be this way or that way. That's why for me, I was like, okay, I can't have goals because I'm a parent. But God said the gray area was, yes, you have these kids, but that means the first statement doesn't even matter. But you can still do it. And I'm gonna not only am I gonna encourage you and walk with you while you do it and give you strength and everything you need, I'm gonna provide all the resources for you. So you know that it's attainable. And I think for single parents, I think just the opportunity, just the thought, and I can't speak for all single parents, right? Just in a grand scheme of things, as long as we know that it's at least like a small chance that it's possible, that's enough hope for us to just keep striving towards maybe just a little bit of peace. It was a wonderful woman that I met when I was about to give birth to my daughter, woman of God. She made it really plain for me and gave me a different perspective. Like when God says his word is the lamp for our feet. If you think about a lamp, and this is how she explained it, if you think about a lamp, you can only see but so much that's in front of you, right? Just sometimes it's only enough to take one more step. And as long as we allow his word to be that for us, baby, we could be walking blind the whole time, but he's guiding us. He's guiding our steps along the way. So I think that my ability to even have hope that I can achieve my goals, or even give me an opportunity to strive for those goals, is rooted in Christ and who he is in what he says that I can do. And his word says that we can do all things through Christ that gives us strength. So that is truly my driving force to be able to achieve my goals. And it's not like he took it away and said, no, we're not doing that. What he did was he took little small dreams that I had and said, it is attainable. And this is how you can do it. Even things that I had completely forgotten about, I'm telling you, completely forgot about, didn't even think was in my scope of vision. Like, I'll even give you an example. My home that I have now, when I was a kid, the poverty mindset became a part of my identity because of how I grew up, that I didn't even think it was a possibility that I could ever even buy a house, rent a house, nothing. But when I gave my life to the Lord, when the word says that God's desires become yours, I think that that is what happened to me. It was an opportunity for me to get a house, and I knew that I could. It was a part of me that was like, well, something might come up, but God said, if this is a desire of yours, then I can give you the resources to do it. And not only that, not only just get a house, because God does amazing things with faith. I got my house built from the ground up. Didn't think that was possible. Didn't even know the process. Didn't know how that was going to work. I said, well, I guess we finna see, that just a little bit, just enough to take one more step, that kind of blind faith almost will really walk you into some wonderful blessings that the Lord has for you, as long as you just say, you know what, God, you said I can do it, so I can do it. And that's really my anchor. That's truly my anchor for being able to achieve the goals. Because if it was me, baby, it would have been over before it started. I'm telling you right now, it's given. That seems hard. So I'm going to just leave that alone. But as long as you don't, it's okay to have that mindset, because that's true. That's in all of your humanity, looking at things like that, knowing that you have to carry the weight of it on your own. You're always going to talk yourself out of it, because it's like, oh my God, I already have enough. Like, I don't need more to add on top of that. But if you have an anchor in the ground, that's like, yes, you can, because it is not you, it's me. You like, oh, okay, cool. I ain't got to worry about that then. Well, let's do that. And that's where a lot of me being able to achieve my goals as a single parent comes from, because it's not me, truly. And it's given me like enormous peace. Like, because that has always been my one prayer. Like, Lord, I just want to be at peace. I just want to be okay. Like, I don't want to be, by the end of the day, I'm burnt out and I don't have nothing for my kids. Like, me, that was my prayer, you know what I'm saying? Because I know how that's going to affect them as they get older. Like, dang, I can't even experience my mom because she's so burnt out from like trying to provide for us, trying to do the things she wants to do, and this and that, and do and this and that, and. So I was like, God, I don't want that to be my story. Like, of course, like, there's going to be days where I'm like, okay, I don't have it, but I don't want that to be the majority of my story. What do you say about this? And in turn, he is teaching me how to abide in his rest. What is rest? What is Sabbath? For the Christianese ones that understand what I'm saying. What does rest look like, God? What does it look like to be still and know that you are God? What does it look like to relax and be chill? And something that's gonna just allow me to just take a deep breath after, doing that brisk run. So in short, to answer your question, it is possible, it is attainable. As long as you have somebody to rely on, as long as you have a strength that doesn't always rely on you, because you already, in reality, you do have to do everything. And as long as you have somewhere to land, I think that anything is possible.
I think the thing that happens with us in motherhood is a lot of us have a previous life before motherhood. Motherhood kind of catches you where you're at. It's not like, now I know for some you do plan your motherhood and it was like really planned down to like, you're going to do it after you graduate college or after you get this degree or certification. But for some of us that it did not happen like that and it just happened. Obviously, don't be like, well, girl, you know what she was doing. It's still something that happens to you and you don't know what changes are actually going to happen until you start walking in it. But a lot of us had a different career or had a path that we wanted. I know for me, I was the same thing. I was like, not that I thought the military was it all for me, but I was like, I see the benefits. I'm already here. I might as well rock this dick out. That had cut short for me because when I had found out I was pregnant with my daughter, my first one, she my company commander told me, hey, you can get out. I don't think it's better for you and your husband to be dual military. I see what that does to families. I don't think it's worth it for y'all. So we prayed on it, and the guy was like, get out. And then I got out at the end of that year. She told us this I got pregnant in March of that year. She told us in June. I got out in October, had her in November. So like when I said nobody planned for no stay-at-home mom, no nothing, there was no money saved for that.
Girl.
No one that. And then my husband got deployed after that, 2 months after she was born. So it was like a lot of this stuff was just back to back. And so your identity changes a lot when you get out of, you don't have a career no more.
Yeah.
Even though I know if you think textbook, you're like, well, your identity shouldn't be in what you do. That is true. But we grew up in a society that's like, what you do is your identity a little bit.
Yes.
And so like being a soldier, that what we had to go through to be a soldier changes who you are. Like everybody's not the same coming after that. So for you to be a soldier and then go straight to be a stay-at-home mom, that is an interesting dynamic to do.
It really
That's
is.
very,
It really
it's
is.
because as a soldier, you can do anything. You got to do anything. But when you become a mom, it's like, hey, you actually can't do that right now. You cannot leave. You have a baby. And then if you breastfeed, that's just a different thing because the baby relies on you. And
You are the primary source for food.
so it's so there's a lot of identity shifts that happen if you're going through like you had a career, you realize that it's better for you to stay at home with your baby, and then you're trying to be a mom. You're like unlearning and learning all at the same time. So of course it's exhausting. Of course it's a culture shock. It really is rough. So when you
Yeah.
think about trying to achieve your goals, you're like, I can't do jack squat. You were used to doing whatever you want to do, and then you got told, hey, you're a mom now. You can't do that. And
Yeah.
then watching all this, right? Then watching all your friends that you had, because I was one of the first people to have a baby in the friend group that I had. So like everybody's continuing to live their life. They didn't have a baby like you did. So like you're stuck. And then it was really sad for me to watch everybody continue and be a part of a family that I feel like I wasn't a part of no more because I was the only one that had a kid. But now that everybody's having kids, everybody's trying to come flock to me. I'm like, what would you got for me? But I can't I can't do them like that because they never had kids before. But I
Yeah.
think it does create kind of a community. Like I kind of see what you're going through and stuff like that. But yeah, it's different. You can achieve your goals because God did show me that too. It just looks different. And it might actually not be the goals that you thought you had. It could be something different.
Yeah.
God definitely showed me a lot of things like you were achieving for this, but I want you to do this. And it's like,
Yeah.
I have to do that with kids. And so a lot of things people are like, how do you do that?
Period.
I do it with the kids. This
Mhm.
YouTube channel, you would see their heads, their face, them talking. They're in there because I used to tell myself I couldn't do something, but then it's like you kind of have to look at it. I'm like, if the kids are going to be with me regardless, I could still do something. It just has to be something where it's kind of like kid friendly, where they can still be in there. And so
Yeah.
I just take the kids with me. And so if you're a mom that's like, bro, I can't do nothing, take the kids with you. I
Yeah.
mean,
And
like,
and don't be afraid to like have to divide your focus because I think that was always my I guess my limiting factor was like, okay, God, I want to have time with you, but if my mind is divided, how am I fully focusing on you? You know, his response was, talk to me while you in it. What do you mean? It doesn't have to be a separate thing from your kids because
right.
when you start to teach them what it's like to have a relationship with me, how you going to tell them, oh yeah, you got to go hide and do it where nobody else is around? No, you do it in the moment. They see you crying, they see you praying, they see you calling out to the Lord, they see you worshiping in service, they ripping and running around, but it's you and God, you know. So oh man, if I could encourage any mama that watches this, is that do it sad, do it even if you're scared, but do it knowing that if God is giving you the ability, if he's giving you the gifts, if he's giving you the talent, if he's giving you the grace to do it, then you can. And he will make sure that you have every single thing that you need, but you got to take the first step. Don't talk yourself out of it. I'm telling you right now. If I can give you any advice, don't talk yourself out of it because it sounds or it feels impossible. You take one step and God will be like, I can do something with that. He said a mustard seed of faith. He didn't say no bushel. He didn't say no leaf. He said a mustard seed, and a mustard seed is tiny. It's like a point on a pin drop. That's
You
how
know,
much he needs. You
they were just
know?
talking about this in church yesterday. And we were actually talking about it when we were doing our Bible study at home. But we were saying, like, God be waiting for us to move. We think it's in our strength that stuff happens, and it's really up to God if it happens or not. But He can't do nothing. He can't open a door for you if you're not walking. Kind of how like He told Abraham, "Hey, get up and go."
Yep.
Like, and I'll show you where to go. And we're like, but where are we going first? And He's like, get up and go, and I'll show you on the way. Like our pastor, our pastor was like, you got to think about it. In Abraham's time, there was no GPS. So where do you think he was going?
Ain't even know. Ain't even know.
Right.
And then it's
Right.
like they didn't have no cars either, so they was on foot.
And he took everything he had, and left the place he was for God to show him a new place. And so it's just like you really got to move. And I think I realized that with having kids too. I had all these dreams, all these things I wanted to do. I talked myself out of it. And then I was like, I said I want these things, but I didn't even made a first faith step to be like, God, is this what you want me to do? I didn't even try it.
Mm-hmm. And it's like he done talked you up, he done encouraged you, he done told you could do it, and here you are like, yeah, I don't know about that guy. And he just like,
But I think maybe
girl.
that's almost like the meme on social media where people are like, I don't want to go outside and find my husband or something. They say, you think a man's gonna show up on your doorstep like Amazon Prime? And for some people, that might be your story. Your dude was the Amazon Prime guy. And
Yeah.
I love it.
Love that for y'all. Love y'all down. Actually, please post the testimony because I want to hear it.
But like that don't happen. Like you really do have to move and go do stuff. And so it's like, hey, I think that's something I will always tell my kids and even my husband too. I'm like, hey, you have this dream that has not left you.
Mhm.
We need to act on it. We need to act on it. And you'll be surprised when you actually act on it. You're like, oh, I can see what I could do with it. But God can't give you the full plan because you're gonna be like, well, I don't like that part. And what if I don't know what to do with that? And it's like it will all come together. But you really have to move. It's almost like our pastor said one time, you need money, go get a job. He's like, it's great to pray. He said it's great to pray for provision and stuff. But like where is the wisdom at? It's like, bro, if you don't have a job and you need money, like go get a job.
Mm-hmm.
And see where God wants you. Like, I mean, I don't tell people to not hire you and pick the next person. I mean, like that happens all the time. We don't get every job that we apply for. But how do you know what door it is until you actually apply and do faith? Like, my God told me to go this route, I'm going to do that route. And so it's like it might look different. I will tell you that. It might not look how you thought it was going to look, and it's okay. And sometimes my God be like, God may use a baby to get you to change your focus. He did that to me a couple times. Okay, as a person who's a veteran,
You
now,
gotta say that.
he will change your direction a couple times. And for babies, he got me to slow down all the time. I want to say 2020, what is it? 2025, I said, I'm about to go hard. Boom, pregnant. Beginning of the year, I said, wow. Same thing. The things that I thought I was going to be doing, I don't want to do it no more. You don't have the capacity to do it. And it's like you have to do it in a different way. And so it's like you think you know what you want to do, but you don't. But at the same time, take some nuance with that. You do know what you want to do. You're just scared of doing it. You already know what you want to do.
You in my business.
You don't trust yourself. And I don't want to go into this whole thing like obviously trust God and stuff, but we don't trust ourselves. And so we doubting ourselves and stuff. And I was like, but if God made you and he knew who you were and he formed you in your mother's womb, therefore he gave you the gifts that you have, and the dream that won't leave you isn't leaving you. It's like you're just gonna be stuck there until you start trusting yourself. Like, I'm gonna just move.
Because and you know what? I feel like we even missed that part when he's encouraging us. He's encouraging us because he knows that his spirit is on the inside of us. And he's like, I know that it's going to be okay because when I say I'm with you, it's because it's my spirit that's on the inside of you that's even pushing you to have the desire in the first place. And we limitate ourselves. It was a sermon that I always remember, and what the pastor was saying was, when you limit yourself, you limit God. And it makes so much more sense now that I'm even talking about it, because if his spirit is dwelling in us and it's the one that's pushing us, we are limiting him and what he can do in our lives. If he's already said, girl, you can do it, because it's my spirit that's working through you anyway. Our favorite song, not by might, not by power. Yes, dear Lord. And recently I've been learning like that he will sometimes him solidifying a covenant with us isn't always like somebody prophesying over us or praying over us. Sometimes he'll solidify a covenant with us in our dreams when it's just you and him, and he's like, hey, I want to do this in your life, and if you say yes, if you open, you willing, we can do a thing, but I need your real yes first, right? So just like you said, I need a real yes first.
Right. And he was just talking about that in church yesterday. I don't want to jack it up, so I'm probably not going to say it fully because it was like Hebrew and stuff like that. But it was basically saying people who are fools who don't believe in God, but then like you telling God no or something is almost the same as you saying that. You really just have to move on that dream that you have, and if it's the wrong one, I promise you guys are going to redirect you to where you're going to go. The doors are going to slam shut, and I tell you, I have that happen to me many time. I think I'm gonna do something. And God's like, cool, nobody's gonna want to work with you. I guess in business terms, people will either not renew. There's so many different things where God can show you like, hey, we're not going in that direction anymore. You might lose interest, you might lose passion, like it's just so many different things. Like I said, how I know I've had it happen to me many times, okay? The quicker you can find, the quicker you can get back up and roll with the punches. The better it will be, but it's still hard. But I think one thing that has helped me when I was in that low season, when I was like, bro, this is crazy. I don't know if I like this life of being a mom. I don't have no friends. Everybody's living life past me. It's like, what's the vision did God give? Like, what did He share with you that He wanted you to do? Write it down somewhere. Obviously, it might not be the same of what plays out, but this will help you like focus when you're having those low moments. Like, what am I supposed to be doing again? You'll be like, oh, this is what He said. This is what I believe He said to me, and then you'll see where it's starting to put together. But usually, when you write it down, you'll see the heart of it the whole time. Like the heart of it, the title or the position or whatever you thought it would look like but the heart of it doesn't change. And so,
take note, ladies. If you work with Sabre, she's gonna tell you to write it down.
I am.
And the word says write it down and make it plain. And that's, right, in my opinion, one of Sabre's favorite verses right there. Because she's going to say, you need to write that down. And she's right. And she's right. Because when you go back and you look at it, I think what I said earlier, like it helps you be reminded of the promise that God gave you. To keep you, like to help you, to sustain you, to encourage you, keep you encouraged. Because discouragement is like it's gonna happen to us. And I think I was doing a study the other day, last week, on how Paul was literally saying, like, even me myself, I am subject to being discouraged. So if this man who has done so many great things in the Bible times is letting you know, like, it's gonna happen, then we have to anticipate that it's gonna happen. And when we recognize it, we can be like, okay, like it's promised to us all. Like we're gonna get discouraged, but it's important for us not to stay in that place. Whether it's God redirecting us, whether it's God closing a door, and always, I hear often like, God's rejection is His protection or His redirection now, or His provision, or like there's always an or. And sometimes the people like me who were operating from rejection, I'll just be like, oh shoot, that's it. Because baby, let me tell you something. I ain't in the business of convincing nobody to do nothing. You tell me no too many times, I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm gonna leave it alone. And God is like, but persist, but push on. Like, when He says seek, ask, seek, knock, like that's a continuous thing. Okay, maybe the door might get closed. One, you knock on that one.
Right.
And just wait and just be patient. And I've been learning that too. Like what patience is. In my mind, I thought that patience was just like sitting there waiting for whatever is going to happen. But it's an active thing. It's an active thing to be patient, but it's also like how you respond to waiting is important. And I was like, you ate with this one, Lord. You ate.
No, because a lot of times we think that waiting is just in our hands. And I used to think that. I'm like, well, I'm just waiting. That might be the right time. But I think a big thing that was for me was you got to prepare for it. If He said it's coming, I think I made a reel about this. It was like, if you say it's coming, God's saying, I want you to start the business or do this, you're going to serve people, whatever, but you don't lay no foundation for the people to come into you. What are you doing? Because you got to be able to steward them. Like He can give it to you, but are you going to be able to steward it to be able to steward them and then have more?
Yeah.
Because He's not going to give you more if you can't steward it. So that's been like a big thing for me when it comes to a lot of things. Like you say you want to do this, but you're not even ready for them. Like if you think about it, you're not even ready to do it.
Yeah.
You want it because of the benefits, but you're not ready to do the work. You're not even ready to steward the work and all that thing. And it's a humbling thing when you think about it. And it kind of puts you in a gear like, oh, let me actually prepare for it.
Yeah.
Like if you're saying like, oh, say if you're trying to buy a house and say you want to pay some debt down or something. You can start paying that debt down while you're waiting. You don't have to wait for it to be a perfect time. There's a Bible verse that talks about like people be trying to wait. Farmers don't wait for the perfect time to plant. Or if you wait for obviously I'm paraphrasing, but if you wait for the perfect time to plant or so, it's like it'll never happen. There is no perfect time to do anything. So especially for the mamas, if you feel like you're in a season where like, well, I can't do everything that it is, like plant the seeds now.
Mhm.
You need time for it to water anyway.
Yeah,
Like seeds
yeah.
don't sprout out immediately. So do that work and put that repetition in now. So when it's
Mhm.
time to reap the harvest of you sowing the seeds, even with your kids being little, I'll reap when they're older. Obviously, we're always going to be sowing. It's a good time to sow something when they're little.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the perfect time to do that. Yes, it's
Yeah.
exhausting and you off sleep, breastfeeding, or doing the many different things that we do as mothers, but like you can still have a piece of yourself and find out who you are. But I think you're just finding out the true version of who you are instead of the version that you picked up from what
Yeah.
those, yeah, from
Hello.
what,
Let's clap to that because the version you picked up.
right.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think motherhood just shows us who we really are underneath all that, and we just get rid of all the noise and stuff. And I'm like, no, this is what I want. Yeah, you know, I had to have Nia on here for a reason. Well, at least for me. Share it with the mama who might have needed to hear this conversation. Like I always say, everything that I do for my mamas is for it to be easy to digest. So even if you couldn't sit here and watch it, you could play this while you're running errands, washing your clothes, cooking dinner, and stuff like that. I know we have other things to do, so you can't always give your full attention to something. The one thing that mamas have learned how to do is listen, because we're also always listening out for our kids. So I
Yeah.
mean, there is skills that we have picked up. But I loved having Nia. Nia, is there anything you'd like to say to the mamas, like a one last, I guess, gift, encouragement to them?
I guess I would say like really like just stay encouraged. Because that one moment where you just throw in the towel could be your breakthrough moment. Could be the moment when you realize exactly what God was trying to show you. Or maybe what you were even trying to see for yourself that you could or you couldn't do. Or maybe you just are finally able to, you feel like you finally get to the end of the tunnel, that light that was at the end of the tunnel, right before, and I always feel like it's like that too. Right before you reach your breakthrough, you want to throw in the towel, but that's right at the right moment where God is like, just stay in there, stay in the fight, keep going back to those things that help bring you through, and tell somebody. Like, I feel like as single parents, we get to that point where we just like, okay, this person is tired of hearing me say this. They're tired of hearing me complain about this or go through this same struggle. Say something. Say something, because the one time when you say something, it invites somebody into that with you. So please, like, you don't have to do it by yourself. It's a community. It's somebody in your life who might surprise you, that's waiting on you for you to just be like, okay, I'm open and I do need help. And boom, that's right. That it'll be at the right time. It'll be at the right time if you just hold on a little bit longer.
Right.
I will leave y'all with that.
I would say, yeah, definitely. And also lean on your married mom friends too. I know you might feel like, okay, I know like when people get married, they kind of separate themselves because they're kind of going through that season of being married. But I still got single mom friends. Because at the end of the day, we all mamas. Regardless if
Yes.
you got a man or not. Like, you still gave birth just like I did. And we still
Yeah.
experiencing the same kind of thing. Obviously, it's different because everybody's life different. But you can still be in a community with married moms, single moms. Like, we can all coexist together. Because we can all
From
learn
each
from each
other.
other. Yeah.
Mamas, and that's what matters too. Is baby, let me tell you, I be calling Sabrina like, hey, I'm alive. Just wanted to check in. And sometimes she like, I ain't heard from you in a while. You good?
Right.
You breathing? You all
Right.
right? So
Exactly.
we need people like that in our lives to press in. And for the mamas that are still working through that hyper independent stuff, you got to be vulnerable to be in community. Truly, you do. And I know that's scary. And we was just talking about that in our Bible study yesterday. You got to be vulnerable. Take a risk. And if anything, okay, maybe it doesn't work out. But what if you take that risk and it does work out? That's the part of the risk you should focus your mind on. That part where it's like, this actually might work out.
And it did with us. 'Cause when I met Nia, I was
Say
like, I didn't
that.
have no more friends.
My girl was done. She was
We
like, no
about to leave.
thanks.
So we was about to leave El Paso, so like no point in being friends. Turns out I actually needed Nia right in that moment. It sucks to be vulnerable. I promise you, it sucks to be vulnerable because it's like
It's
people
hard.
about to make fun of me. People about to say whatever they want to say about me. But there are people who are like, oh, that's nothing. Like, not saying like your stuff ain't like traumatic,
Serious?
whatever. But people would be like, oh, girl, that's it. Okay, we can work with that.
Yeah,
Like,
let's do it.
right. And so even with Nia, I'll be looking at her like, oh, that's it, cool. Then we
I'll be looking like, really? But that solidifies trust. It solidifies the friendship, like to just continue to keep growing and keep growing. Because if it's like what I feel like I thought was the worst of the worst, my girl is like, oh, okay. And so what? And I still love you. And we still gonna get through this. Sometimes we need that. We need that to know that not only are we not crazy, but we're not feeling judged. We both gonna be praying that you get you a Nia and you get you a Sabre in your life because we all need it.
get you some friends, be vulnerable, and like you said, we all mamas, so the baby's gonna be in there. The baby's gonna be there, just like you can see in the video. All the babies there.
We in here, baby.
Right. But now, if you want to connect with Nia, her links are in the description below for you to connect with her, learn more about her. And if you want to talk to her, she down. You see, sometimes we have to be bold enough to reach out to people. You never know who people are waiting to, like, if you love Nia, how she was talking, you just felt like she was a safe person. She is for me. I'll send this out.
Yeah, I can see a homegirl from around the way if that's what you need. I'm a homegirl from around the way.
Thank you, Nia, for coming. I loved it.
It was truly an honor to be on. And I thank you. I love you, Sabre. I respect all you doing, girl. And you doing it because you that girl. And all the women that's watching, just know Nia said you that girl and you did that and you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. And it's so nice to just support you because I just love you now. I love you real bad. So proud of you. Doing great things.
You don't start crying. Y'all just done
Please.
Y'all know the stuff we've been through.
They already working their way up to my eyeballs.